Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Irv Homer Internet program, as opposed to the Irv Homer program on WBCB 1490 AM at 1 o'clock, Monday through Friday. This program here is strictly my own. It has got nothing to do with the radio station. Do not hold the radio station or the sponsors of WBCB responsible for anything that I say on this program, because this is mine and I let it roll. We're broadcasting from irvhomer.com. My website is www.irvhomer.com. You can email me at evilerv@irvhomer.com. If you can't get through on the telephone number at 215-253-8877, 215-253-8877. You can get on our chat room, as some folks are already on the chat room. And once again, the phone number, if you want to call in, is 215-253-8877. RGH Computer Services has put this program together with all the technical advice and necessities, the television camera, etc. and so forth. And they're in business to provide computer services that which you've not seen in the market anywhere. Their telephone number to call them if you have a computer problem. If you want to purchase a computer, they will show you and advise you on how to purchase your computer and the best buys that you can get. And that telephone number is 215-322-8685. 215-322-8685. They will advise you on what type of computer to get, if it's for your child, for school, if you're a beginner, if you're going to upgrade your system. And unless you know what you're doing, it's like buying a boat, ladies and gentlemen. Many people buy boats for the wrong reason, and then they complain that boating is no good. Same as an automobile, but mostly boats, mostly things that people are not too familiar with buying. So if you're not familiar with computers, you get prices on upgrades and so forth. You contact RGH Computer Services. Let them advise you. And they will advise you in the way that will save you money, give you the computer that you need, provide the services that you want. Let's go to the chat room, and this is from Bill and Barb of Feasterville, Pennsylvania. We heard your live show today, Irv. Glad you are back. Bill and Barb of Feasterville, Pennsylvania, thank you so very much. The program that I do here will be a little different than the program that I do there. This program is uninhibited radio. There's nothing held back. My opinions are my own. When I do the commercial broadcast on WBCB 1490 AM at 1 o'clock, it's a little different type of program than what I do here. But I am outraged tonight. I mean, I am really PO'd. I had the unfortunate circumstance of listening to Sean Hannity as I was driving over to the studio. And of course you know that President-elect Barack Obama has made his cabinet selection. And this bloviator, Hannity, who is so worried about the fairness doctrine, and if I were he and others, I would be afraid of the fairness doctrine too, because they are so biased, so bent, and depending on the stupid audience that they have, and some of you may be part of that stupid audience, that they have no idea that is the audience of how much of a windbag blowhole he is. He was talking tonight, as I was driving in, about the selection of the cabinet of Barack Obama. And once again, you people don't know who I voted for, and you will never find out who I voted for. But I deal with the issues. And he was picking apart the cabinet selections of Barack Obama. I dare to say that if anyone called in to that bloviator, that windbag, and said, what about President Bush's cabinet selections? Where are they? Where is Donald Rumsfeld, Mr. Hannity? Where is General Tommy Franks, Mr. Hannity? Where is Harriet Miers, your selection for Attorney General, Mr. Hannity? Where the hell is Bush's cabinet that he selected when he first went into office. They're all gone. Yet you will sit and criticize the selection of Barack Obama when the guy that you've been promoting and making excuses for the last 8 years, his cabinet members are not only not there, they should be in jail. Wolfowitz. See, the problem, Mr. Hannity, is that I have a memory that you don't. The problem is with his stupid listeners is that they kiss his behind and think every word that he says is gospel. But the real problem is those people who want to challenge Hannity can't get through. So my question is to you Bush supporters, where's his cabinet? How many of them are still there? Where is Rumsfeld? Oh, I remember Monica Crowley. Oh, where's Rummy? Dear Rummy. Remember Rummy? Well, Rummy is suddenly silent, isn't he? General Tommy Franks is silent, isn't he? Harriet Miers, Attorney General selection, she's disappeared. Well, where are they, Hannity? So I feel it is my responsibility on this program to enlighten you, the public, as to if Bush's selection when he was appointed President of the United States, when he won the election against John Kerry and Al Gore, where the hell is his cabinet? Was it so wonderful? A lot of criticism about Barack Obama, the president-elect. Well, we're in some trying times. The economy, stock market, terrorism around the world. And where are you, President Bush? We only have one president, President Bush, and that's you. But President-elect Barack Obama has assumed the responsibility of making the American people feel comfortable and safe in light of an economic disaster in this country, in light of the fact that the stock market will probably tank after the first of the year. The fact of the matter is that terrorism is growing by leaps and bounds. And President-elect Barack Obama is on television 4 and 5 times a week trying to explain to the American people that it's going to take time, that we are in areas and waters that we've never sailed before, realizing the responsibility that he as President-elect has. And I was just wondering whether or not if John McCain and Sarah Palin would have won the election, what they would be doing while President Bush is picking his nose and scratching his ass. George Bush, you are the President of the United States. You will be the President until January the 20th, and where the hell are you? What words of security do you have for the American people to give them confidence when you leave office? Are you too damn yellow, President Bush? That your legacy may be injured? That you're afraid to face the cameras and answer questions? This is the end of your reign, King George Bush. You owe it to the American people to be on television every day if necessary. Applaud the things that you've done, but be willing to take criticism for the way you screwed up. You're leaving this president-elect, Barack Obama, and his administration, a country that is in so disarray, financially, so divided, involved in 2 wars and possibly a third one if Pakistan and India don't get their act together. And all you're waiting for is to get your ass out of Washington to go down on your farm and collect a big, fat, juicy pension. And the hell with the American people. Yes, George Bush, you are still the President of the United States. You're my president. You're the president of the people that will be listening to this program or viewing it on television. So where the hell are you? Are you afraid to admit some mistakes that you made? I will applaud you for the things that you've done, but I want to know what the hell they are. You've lied to the American people. Mission accomplished. If you're not with us, you're against us. And the famous quote, Mr. Bush, bring it on. Remember that, Mr. Bush? Bring it on, all you Bushites. Well, they're bringing it on, Mr. Bush. Are you happy now? Now that you're leaving office? You're bringing it on. They brought it on in the London subway. They brought it on in India. They brought it on in Nigeria. They brought it in Somalia. They're pirating ships all over the damn Mideast. Well, they brought it on. They did what you wanted them to do. They brought it on. And now you're going to disappear from the scene and sneak out like an Arab under a tent? But you're not going to hear that windbag Hannity or those other so-called broadcasters who are afraid to be criticized by people like me because you're too damn yellow. The fairness doctrine won't eliminate the Hannitys, and it won't eliminate the other right-wing bloviators. What it will do is to challenge you guys and gals of the cowards that you are. Was it Private Rush Limbaugh? Was it Private Hannity? Was it Captain Hannity? Was it Sergeant, or was it Captain or Lieutenant Limbaugh? The cowardly bastards never wore the uniform of this country and have the unmitigated gall to talk about the glory of war. If the camera would pan this room that we're broadcasting in, and my garage, and my basement, you will see hundreds of books. And one of the books that I was looking for, because we rearranged the house, was a book on the B-17, the Flying Fortress during World War II. And I found the book last night while I was shooting pool in my basement. Yes, I have a pool table in my basement. And some other things, some other amenities. And I put that book and I brought it up into the kitchen. And I was reading about the 15th Air Force that I was assigned to for 18 months in the Mediterranean. And I don't know why I did it, but I read the history of the 15th Air Force, my particular bomb group. And I said to my son today when we were driving in the car, you live that the rest of your life for those who have been in combat. I don't mean the cooks, I don't mean the administrators, I mean the guys that were shot at and were killing people. And I don't want to hear about Bill O'Reilly visiting Baghdad. I don't want to hear about Hannity visiting. I want them to go out to the front lines, to drive in a Hummer, and get paid $300 a month or $600 a month, whatever their rank may be. You yellow-bellied, cowardly bastards. And that goes for the local broadcasters in Philadelphia, too, on talk radio, who've never worn the uniform of this country and put their lives in danger at risk to be killed or to kill people. You know what the hell it is to kill somebody? I've had the pleasure of killing people. And other men in Vietnam, in Korea, in Panama, in Afghanistan, in Iraq, have killed people. You think they come home normal? You wonder why you got shooting on the streets of Philadelphia, Chicago, Florida? It's not because of brave bastards like you, you yellow-bellied talk show hosts. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. War so goddamn great, why the hell didn't you enlist, Limbaugh? You were too busy taking OxyContin, hiring a damn kite, making $11 million a year behind a microphone. You really placed yourself at risk living in a gated community with more security than the President of the United States gets. You should brag about the courage and the power and the strength that our troops have, because you, yellow bastard, never put the uniform of the country on. I know neither did Bill Clinton. Well, what the hell war was George Bush in? His father was in a war. He's living on the glory of his father's glory days. What was George Bush doing? Flying a fighter plane protecting the border of Mexico? Little Georgie boy didn't go into combat, but he flew on the aircraft carrier deck and said, "Mission accomplished." Oh, they put the sign there by mistake. Bring it on. If you ain't with us, you're again. Boy, President Bush, you're really a brave guy. Bring it on. Your ass was in Washington, and they were bringing it on our troops in Afghanistan and Iraq, and they're still doing it. Am I outraged? You're damn right I'm outraged. Could I speak like this on commercial radio? Of course not. But some of you boobuses out there who applaud these nitwits like Hannity and Limbaugh and the other yellow bellies, sniveling damn cowards, and those on WPHT that never wore a uniform in their life. Oh, we rode with the police on Friday night on a drug bus. Big damn deal. So did I. So what? Do I have a right to be outraged? You're damn right I do. And it's time the American people who fought for this country, who love this country, and for those who died for this country, and for the heirs and the relatives of those who fought and died in combat, to stand up and be counted and put these yellow-bellied bastards where they belong, in hell. That's where they belong. I don't know whether Barack Obama and his cabinet is going to be any better than any other president cabinet or not. But to sit on a daily basis, as these sniveling 4F bastards do, on 600 radio stations, 200 radio stations, 500 radio stations, and worry about the fairness doctrine. What's fair about you, you yellow-bellied bastards that never wore the uniform of the country, never had your life at risk, and have more damn security than the president? What are you so brave about? Maybe I've just lived too long, ladies and gentlemen. But I remember, I've been there and I've done that. Criticized Howard Stern with the young lady that Howard Stern has was a captain in the United States Army. I forgot her name. What's her name? Show us your credentials, Hannity. Show us your credentials, Limbaugh. Show us your family's credentials. I'm outraged. Before the President of the United States elect Barack Obama, these people are tearing him apart because it's for the good of America. Well, the good of America would have been if your candidate won. When the hell are you Republicans going to realize you lost? You lost the election. Work hard for the next 4 years to make this a better country, and maybe you'll win. I don't know whether Barack Obama is going to be a great president or a lousy president. It certainly can't be any worse than what the hell we have. This has been a glorious 8 years. And I hope you're all happy with it. I wish George Bush, Laura Bush, well. while their two daughters have never put the uniform of the United States on, while there are other young women serving in the military. Joe Biden's son is in the military. Sarah Palin's son is in the military. But where the hell are your daughters, President Bush? The idiocy of the Hannitys and the idiocy of the Limbaughs. Well, Barack Obama is going to send his children to private school. But you would be the first people to complain about the security for the president-elect's daughters if they went to public school. Would you, Mr. Hannity? Will you, Mr. Limbaugh? You don't have any children, Limbaugh. What are you, sterile? Did they cut your nuts off when you got on radio? Would you send your kids to private school? Or would you send them to public school and make sure they had all kind of security? The nerve, the unmitigated gall to complain because Barack Obama, a black man with crazy racists like, oh, don't tell me you're not a racist, Limbaugh. Don't tell me you're not a racist, that you're happy with a black man being president of the United States. But you know damn right well you wouldn't send your kids to no public school even today because you couldn't afford the security. As long as these windbags, cowards, are on radio stirring up the pot on 600 stations, 200 stations, a potential 20 million listeners, nobody's daughter is safe. Nobody's son is safe. Nobody's child is safe. Because if you think Al-Qaeda spreads propaganda through the Muslim community, you people do a damn good job with Boobas America. You stir up the pot against liberals, you stir up the pot against gays, you stir up the pot against pro-abortion people, you stir up the pot about everybody, and you say, oh, we don't do anything to affect people. Well, the words that you whores spew on a daily basis, if they don't affect anyone, then why do you do live commercials? You do live commercials to influence your sponsors to buy the products that they sell to your boobus audiences. But then you say that your commentary doesn't affect people. This is the stupidity of you and the masses who listen to them and believe them. I hear there's now an organization, send money to fight the fairness doctrine. Well, if the monopolistic station owners that own 400 and 500 and 600 radio stations would put diverse opinions on that station, I don't want Hannity to disappear. I don't want Limbaugh to disappear. I don't want Medved to disappear. But on the stations that they're on, there should be fairness and balance. Not a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week conservative broadcasting. The last thing I want to do is infringe on their right to speak out. But I do demand that opposing points of view be presented on those stations for 3 hours a day, 6 hours a day, 9 hours a day, depending on how long they've got these conservative bloviator coward bastards on. That's what I want. I'm sure they could find 3 liberal combat veterans to do a program as good as they are. That would be fair. Not to eliminate Hannity, not to eliminate Limbaugh, or Gallagher, that other demented psychopath. But fairness on the same stations to voice an opposing point of view. That's fair. Not to take them off the air. That's not fair. It's not fair to take any of them and remove them from the air. What is fair, that on the stations that they monopolize, that there be equal time to liberal broadcasters. Someone with an opposing point of view. That would be fair. So don't let them con you with, oh, if they give the fairness doctrine, they're going to remove us from the air, you won't be able to hear us, blah, 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 blah. They are lying through their damn teeth. They're afraid of the syndication. They're afraid of the competition of common sense broadcasters like Irv Homer. That's what they're afraid of. For those of you that are just joining me and not knowing who I am, my ratings are available to the public. When I was on the air against Rush Limbaugh, and his ratings never beat me with any majority over the period of time. You get someone that speaks common sense radio and put them up against Limbaugh on another radio station, they'll beat his pants. Or Hannity, or anybody else. That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of the very thing that they brag about in America, and that's competition. Not that one radio station be liberal and one radio station be conservative. That whore 990 WNTP in Philadelphia has the unmitigated gall to advertise conservative intelligent radio. If there was ever an oxymoron, that's it. To advertise it. A station that is licensed by the public and the FCC lets them get away with it, that they tell you to your face when they promote the radio station, it's conservative intelligent radio. When the hell was that station ever licensed to do conservative intelligent radio? And for the Democrat liberals are so damn dumb, I don't know who advises the Democrat Party or advises the liberals, but they're crazy as a bedbug because the vulnerability is there. If you gave me a chance to go up against them, as old as I am. Our telephone number, 215-253-8877, 215-253-8877. The time is 6:30. It is Monday, December the 1st. Our telephone number, 215-253-8877. Barb in Feasterville will go to the chat room, which is available. What do you think of Obama's choice of Hillary as Secretary of State? Barb of Feasterville. I think Hillary Clinton is an excellent selection as Secretary of State. She's been around the world. She's met these leaders. She knows the tenor of the times. She's not a neophyte. And if you appreciate Colin Powell as Secretary of State, I would say that she has the ability and the smarts to be Secretary of State. And you will hear the yellow-bellied coward OxyContin and Mr. Brave Sergeant Hannity. My apology to all servicemen who are sergeants. Apparently the people of New York appreciate her as a United States Senator. As a United States Senator, she has information from the Armed Services Committee and other committees, Barb, that the average person doesn't get. So she's well knowledgeable and well schooled from the 8 years as being the First Lady and being a United States Senator to be Secretary of State. She wasn't a governor stuck up in some little jerk state called Alaska and did moose hunting. No, I think that Hillary Clinton is well qualified. She's a smart lady. And when she warned in the beginning of the first term of the Clinton administration that we were going to have a health care crisis in America, do we have a health care crisis in America or not? Yes, she's well qualified to be Secretary of State. The only problem is with a woman is that the 1,300,000 Muslims in the world, and they are 25% of the world's population do not recognize women. Women are second-class citizens. Madeleine Albright, in her book, if you read it, explains the problem that she had, explained the problem that the ambassador to Iraq had with Saddam Hussein, April Glaspie, that you don't hear Limbaugh, you don't hear Hannity, you don't hear anybody talk about April Glaspie, who gave Saddam Hussein under the Bush administration the right to go into Kuwait. That's what these guys are afraid to be hearing about on radio. That's what the Republicans are afraid to hear. I don't want to hear what Kissinger has to say. I want to know what the ambassador to Iraq, to Saddam Hussein, told him when he said he was going into Kuwait, and she told him, that's your business, not ours. How come April Glaspie has never been brought before? The cowards on talk radio. How come they don't even mention her name? Hillary Clinton is not April Glaspie. Hillary Clinton is not Madeleine Albright. And Hillary Clinton sure as hell isn't Condoleezza Rice. We go to the website. Why don't other veterans see the hypocrisy in Hannity, Limbaugh, Beck, and Ingram? At least liberal Randy Rhoads served her country. You're absolutely right. Why don't other veterans see the hypocrisy in Hannity, Limbaugh, and Beck? And there's Laura Ingraham, who constantly on television wears her cross. Is that supposed to give Laura Ingraham some type of dignity? I don't know why the veterans allow these windbags to get away with what they do. And why Randy Rhoads isn't on the same station with Hannity or Limbaugh or Beck. Wouldn't it be great to have 3 hours of Randy Rhoads followed by 3 hours of Rush Limbaugh? That would be fair broadcasting. Not to eliminate Limbaugh, not to eliminate Hannity, not to eliminate Beck, but on the same station, have a diversity of opinion, not from some caller who's given 1 minute a short shrift and they talk about him after he hangs up. Absolutely right. To our chat room, our telephone number is 215-253-8877. We went out of our way to put a phone line in here. I hope you take advantage of it. Irv, you mentioned earlier today that there have been terrorist attacks not reported by the media. Were these attacks on U.S. soil? Yes. If so, how can the media keep this quiet, and why would they? Is Bush keeping the media quiet on this? Dan from Hamilton, New Jersey, you're right on all accounts. You must remember that the New York Times sat on the story for 3 weeks before Abu Ghraib was reported. Remember the prison? Remember the brutality? Remember the gal with the cigarette with the dogs? The New York Times had that story and sat on it for 3 weeks because the president didn't want them to report it. Is Bush keeping the media quiet? Bush has sat on the media for years since he's been president. During the Vietnam War, my dear friend, maybe you'll forget, Dan, that during the Vietnam War we saw the bodies coming into Dover Air Base, which is America's morgue for military servicemen. We saw the flag-draped coffins. We saw the C-5As bringing those boys. Who put a stop to it? President George Bush. He don't want you to see the dead from Iraq and Afghanistan coming back to America. How many demonstrations, anti-war demonstrations, have you seen on television in the last 8 years? None. The media has kissed this president's ass so bad in not reporting the truth that for the bloviator windbags that I had mentioned earlier in the program, to say that the media is liberal, that the media only reports the bad news, is an outright lie. During the Vietnam War, we saw demonstrations in the streets all over the place. Washington had demonstrations. Philadelphia had demonstrations. New York had demonstrations. When's the last time you saw a demonstration on television? What did they show on television? They showed the gay march in California when Proposition 8 was defeated. The gays don't pose any threat to the Bush administration. The fact of the matter is, it caters to the Bush administration. Because that crazy display of the crazy gay and lesbian people was what the media showed you. There is a gay and lesbian community in America that is very quiet, sedate, may live next door to you, conducts their business, does their jobs. They do their fighting in a different way. They go to the polls. They talk among their friends. But what did this liberal media do but disgrace the gay and lesbian movement by putting on television from San Francisco the most absurd and outrageous demonstration of the gay community? So where are the demonstrations? You mean to tell me there's no anti-war demonstrations that are going on in America? You would be led to believe, if this, quote, drive-by media is so liberal, how come we never saw an anti-war demonstration? I saw them from friends of mine who sent me video clips of them. I've heard from police officers from around the world, from around this country, the demonstrations that were in France and England, from the Coalition of the Willing, where their people said, what are we fighting this war for? See, the Coalition of the Willing, Britain doesn't have a draft. They have conscription, which is a little different than the draft. France, Germany. You mean to tell me all of the servicemen from France and from all around, they all volunteered? Not so. A lot of them are draftees. And the demonstrations are rampant. Demonstrations in Baghdad. Did you see the demonstration at the, not Baghdad, but at the, in Thailand, in Bangkok? Did you see that demonstration? You didn't see it. They held the air. They had 90 airplanes lined up that could not take off because the anti-government forces of Thailand blocked the airport. 100 and some thousand people could not leave Thailand. This administration has done a miraculous job on shutting down news that we should see. So I don't want to hear about the drive-by media being liberal. The drive-by media has been shut down by the Bush administration in cooperation with the Bush administration. When I made it known on my radio program that the son of the Secretary of State was the head of the Federal Communications Commission, but I never identified who it was, and I never said it was America. They said, well, only in Russia, Irv, could that happen. And I said, no, it was in America. The son of the Secretary of State under the Bush administration, Michael Powell, was the head of the organization that controls the broadcast media. Never heard Hannity or Beckerman say anything about that. I guarantee you if it was in Russia, if Putin's son was the head of the broadcasting community in Russia, they would have shot their mouths off all over the damn place. And speaking of Glenn Beck, remember the Support Our Troop rallies that used to be held all over the country? Spontaneously, I know in my community at Bustleton and Street Road, there were tractor trailer with flatbeds and they had bands and flags and everybody had a flag. That was promoted, not spontaneously, but that was promoted by Glenn Beck, paid for by the Pentagon to get sympathy for the war in Iraq. Look it up yourselves. That's the whores that are on radio today. Irv, in relation to terror attacks that have not been reported, do you think the plane that blew up over Rockaway Beach was terror related? Yes, I do, Mike. Yes, I do. It was too convenient that right after 9/11 that plane blew up. What did they blame it on? A high-pressure fuel leak? Baloney. Didn't happen that way. Irv, isn't radio driven by money? And if people don't want to listen to liberals, how can a station make money? The fact of the matter is, nobody is asking for a liberal or conservative bill from Lanai, Pennsylvania. The station's owners are monopolistic. You can't go wrong promoting motherhood, apple pie, and patriotism. I was a liberal on radio and the station made a lot of money off of me. I wouldn't have been there for 35 years. Nobody's asking for liberal or conservative. We're asking for fair broadcasting. And I guarantee you, Bill, that I will put my advertising dollars on WWDB for 25 years up against anything that is on WPHT today. Stations can make money, but not when they're owned by conservatives who kiss the ass of the administration. Do you mean to tell me that 50%, if I was an advertiser, I wouldn't advertise on a radio station who advertise, and all you got to do is look at the advertising that WNTP has. None. WPHT has learned, they moderated their conservative. Michael Smirkanish in the morning was kind of more general broadcasting, as that idiot TC and that goofy kid Greg or something. I don't know what he is. But he's made like a different program, talks a lot of sports, has realized that you can make money out of diversified broadcasting. And of course the infomercials, which is nothing but you buy time and you sell your product. That's a moneymaker. Sponsors and advertising agencies, Bill, from Lanai, Pennsylvania, will buy quality broadcasting. But when the only thing they've got is a company that owns 6 radio stations in the Philadelphia market, where are they going to advertise? They don't have any other outlet. You talk about competition? One company owns 6 stations in the city of Philadelphia. You don't want to advertise on you'll advertise on the other. If you want to advertise on radio, you'll advertise with me. And you will listen to what I put on the air, not what you want. Common sense, well-balanced radio and television makes money. But could I assume that WPHT radio that has Beck, Limbaugh, and Hattie on, Do you think for 1 minute that I would buy any product that is advertised on their programs? I used to love to go to Ruth Chris Steakhouse. And I used to spend a lot of money there. And probably still would. But I'll be damned if I spend a dime at Ruth Chris Steakhouse as long as Hannity's advertising it. Unless there would be a Randy Rose on that station, syndicated. Even a crazy Al Franken. I don't think he could sell anything. But 50% of these people in America are liberals. Those people have been shut out of the consumer market by crazy radio station owners who cater only to conservative radio. If I were an advertiser, do you think for 1 minute I would advertise on one radio station with one point of view? So where do the liberals go to spend their money? They go to cable. And then the stations cry about the fact that their advertising revenue has diminished. Yes, Bill from Lanai. Put a liberal on who has sense, common sense radio, and they will buy it. But not when you've got one radio company owning 6 stations or 5 stations in a market when there's no diversity. When did you ever hear 1210 advertising 1060? They advertise, what is it, WMMR, KYW? When did you ever hear that? When I was in the Philadelphia market, we had competition with other radio stations. We fought like hell to get listeners, to beat KYW, to beat MMR, to beat 610 WIP. What the hell do you have to worry about now? The owner that owns that radio station owns the other radio station. They're going to get the advertising dollar because of a monopoly. Wouldn't you like to hear Randy Rose on WPHT? I would. I would love to hear Alan Combs, the nemesis of Sean Hannity, on WPHT. I'd like to hear any liberal, a diverging point of view. Yes, Bill. The radio business has to be, and hopefully, the Barack Obama administration will get some common sense. Once again, I don't want anybody, well, I really don't give a damn what you say about me. But I want to make it perfectly clear, it is not my point, not my objectivity, to drive Limbaugh or Hannity or Beck from the radios. No way. Let them be heard. But let there be a diversity of opinion on the radio stations on which they broadcast. That's what I want. I want to hear diversity on one radio station. I have to applaud the late Win Moore, who was the program director to put WWDB together, where there were conservatives, liberals, middle of the road, black. That radio station was diversified with conservative and liberals and made money for the 25 years it was talk radio. I want to congratulate Chuck Schwartz, who owned the radio station, one of the owners. Charlie Banta, who owned the radio station. Even the present owners, the Beasleys, who allowed diversity of radio to be heard. You don't have that today in radio. You don't have that diversity today. It is sorely needed. Hopefully, this administration will balance radio. No fairness doctrine, but balance radio and television. The cowardly OxyContin freakazoids complain about the drive-by media being liberal. You know why the media is liberal by their definition? because they report stories that they don't want you to hear. Like, why don't you announce who George Bush's cabinet was in the year 2000 when he was first elected? And where are they? Why don't they do a split screen and show his cabinet that he appointed and where they are now? But the memory of the audience of the OxyContin Kid and Sergeant Hannity and Corporal Beck doesn't remember 8 years ago. They're lucky if they remember yesterday. They remember yesterday. And that's why they get away with what they do. My memory serves me well. Rick from Percy says, when I called an advertiser to complain about them supporting Limbaugh, they got upset at me. Well, of course they got upset with you. What kind of deal did the radio station make with an advertiser supporting Limbaugh? How many bonus spots did they give them? See, if you buy the Limbaugh show, I don't know whether they do it now or not, but they'll give you 2 commercials during the day, and then they'll give you a freebie at night, or 2 freebies at night. Sure, they got upset with you. Because the radio station, you couldn't say, the advertiser would say, well, if you don't like Limbaugh, why don't you listen to Randy Rhoads? Or why don't you listen to some other liberal on that station? There isn't any. That's what the advertiser ought to realize. Do you mean to tell me every advertiser, every public relations firm, every media buyer is conservative in America? They have no liberal customers? I would like to hear what they said. I'm Irv Homer. Our telephone number is 215-253-8877. 215-253-8877. And we have a chat room here that I'll be glad to answer your questions. So the big question is, ladies and gentlemen, where is President Bush? Why isn't he doing fireside chats like Franklin Delano Roosevelt did? What happened to the President Bush that after 9/11, ladies and gentlemen, we had a president that had the whole world united with us, getting telegrams and condolences from around the world? What has this conservative so-called administration done, and what have these bloviators done to America that we do not get the recognition and respect that we had 8 years ago? Is it because Boobus America is asleep? Was this a test, this terrorist attack? There are 1,700,000 Muslims on planet Earth. Their ultimate goal, and I will repeat it, is to either convert or kill Christians and Jews. If they can't do it with bombs and terrorism, they will do it financially, as they're doing right now. They will convert every African American that is in prison today. You know the biggest recruiting place for the Islamic faith is in the prisons of the United States today? But you don't want to hear what I've got to say because it's the truth. You're too busy listening to these damn cowards, Limbaugh, Hannity, and Beck. Go into the prisons and see the conversion in there. Talk to the wardens. Talk to the guards that are there. They may go in as blacks and Baptists and Catholics and Protestants. They'll come out Muslim. The biggest percentage of conversion in America today in the black and the Hispanic community is to Islam. Islam is on the march for conversion. They would like to impose the laws of Sharia. How many of you know what the law of Hammurabi is? This administration, the Bush administration, had 160 Arab-speaking members of the United States military, CIA, and Secret Service, and were discharged because they were gay or lesbian. We don't teach Arabic in our schools. We have to take Iraqis, Afghans, Saudis, and hope and pray that they will work for us and interpret for us. Because this nitwit president administration, with his anti-gay and lesbian problem, will not tolerate gays or lesbians in the military or in Secret Service or give security clearance. When they have to have an interpreter, they have to have one of their own people. That's why they infiltrate. That's why they know what's going on. Do you know about the United Nations? No. I could go into this thing hour after hour and after hour after hour. Irv, did the black Muslims get along with the Middle Eastern Muslims? I thought they had conflict between them. Their conflict is only, Rick, determined by how to kill us. There are the Muslims who believe in conversion, as Christians do, and there are Muslims who believe in killing. Read what is happening right now in Nigeria, where over 300 Christians were slaughtered by the Muslims, while the other Muslims are saying, we didn't want that to happen. I've said many times, unfortunately, and in my entire broadcast career, I have never gotten an answer to this. From clergymen, why do you Christians die so gracefully at the hands of terrorists? There were 4 Jews killed in India, and the Jewish community, including Israel, has risen up in righteous indignation, including Crown Heights of New York. Yet about 80 Christians were killed by those Muslim terrorists. I heard not one word from Cardinal Regali, the Pope, Protestant ministers, anybody. Maybe between now and Wednesday, Christians can send me an email to evilirv@irvhomer.com and tell me why when Christians get slaughtered around the world, you're so quiet about it. I'm Irv Homer. Until the next time.